Imagine you're in a simple room facing two envelopes. In the first, a check for $100,000. Available now, no questions or conditions. In the second, a worn-out book titled, The Invisible Map of True Wealth. Inside, 10 lessons, 10 assets that don't appear on bank statements but shape true millionaires. 10 seeds that, if cultivated, will bear fruit for a lifetime. Which would you choose? You were programmed. Since childhood, your choices were shaped, not by your will, but by a system that rewards obedience and punishes boldness. You were taught to trade time for money, to study for grades, not to learn, to follow rules, and not to ask questions. You were told that success meant getting a good job. That freedom was dangerous. That dreaming big was arrogance. Buy a house, take out a loan, have kids, and pay bills until you die. You call that life. But you didn't realize that this script wasn't written by you. It was written to keep you where you are. Average, in line, in fear. Meanwhile, the 10% live outside the script. They don't ask for permission. They create their own games. They understand something no one taught you. Freedom isn't earned. Freedom is built. 1. Mindset, the first asset. If you want to change your financial life, stop looking at your bank account and start observing what you think every day. The account is the reflection. The mindset is the cause. Your mind is the operating system that processes every decision. And here's a hard truth. Most operate with sabotaging software. They think with fear, what if I lose everything? I'm not good with money. I just want stability. While the 10% think strategically. What's the worst case scenario and how do I prepare? How can I learn from this? What can I build with what I have? You think you lack money, but what you really lack is mindset. Because even if you were given $1 million today, without the right mindset, you'd lose it all. Like most lottery winners, mindset is the invisible asset. Those who cultivate it never become slaves again. 2. Strategic knowledge. You were educated to memorize, not to think. To repeat, not to question. Most drown in information, but die of thirst. They have access to the internet, books, videos, courses, but live as if none of that exists. Because they don't apply, they don't filter, they don't prioritize. Knowledge without action is ego. It's entertainment disguised as progress. The 10% are obsessed with applied learning. They read with focus, study with a goal, implement, make mistakes, correct, evolve. While many watch finance videos to feel smart, the 10% use that content to generate profits the next day. Strategic knowledge isn't knowing a lot. It's knowing what matters and applying it precisely. 3. Smart networking. Have you ever thought that your social circle might be your biggest prison? Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Observe their conversations, habits, visions. If they don't challenge you to grow, they're preventing you from growing. People are viruses or vaccines. They weaken you or strengthen you. The 10% understand this. They don't make friends out of convenience. They connect with intention. They invest in mentors. Attend strategic environments. They're where the builders are. Because they know, alone you walk fast. In a network, you go far. And they never hang out with those who drag them down. No matter how old the bond, they know that maintaining toxic friendships is a luxury a dreamer can't afford. 4. Physical and mental energy. Want to build an empire? But your body lives collapsed. Your mind lives in war. Your day starts tired and ends confused. How many wrong decisions have you made because you were exhausted? How many opportunities did you not even see because you were emotionally drained? Energy is the invisible currency of the 10%. They take care of their bodies because they know your body is the vehicle of your freedom. They're not athletes, but they're functional. They sleep well, eat well, move. They don't negotiate the basics. They've already understood. Chronic fatigue is a silent thief of wealth. While many seek motivation, the 10% seek recovery because they know that without energy, there are no quality decisions. 5. Absurd focus. Want to grow? Then stop shooting in all directions. You're not a machine gun. You need to be a laser. Most fail not due to lack of talent, but due to excess distraction. Today it's digital marketing. Tomorrow drop shipping. then cryptocurrencies, and they never finish anything. The 10% choose a path and dig until they find gold. They understand that the boredom of repetition is the price of excellence. They don't jump from branch to branch. They build a bridge stone by stone. You want to do 1,000 things at once. Congratulations, you're going to fail in style. Real success demands monofocus, obsession, loyalty to the process. While the world seeks novelty, the 10% seek depth. 6. Time, the most underrated asset. You think your problem is lack of money, but in reality, it's lack of awareness about time. The poor trade time for wages. The rich turn time into assets. Time is the only currency you can't print. You can lose money and earn it back, but time lost never returns. Most people live as if they had infinite time. They wake up late, get lost in social media, work without a plan, and then say, I don't have time. The 10% understand. Every wasted minute is an investment in poverty. They use calendars. They plan. They say no without guilt. They don't sell their time for pennies. They buy other people's time to multiply their own. They hire, delegate, automate. While you're putting out fires, they are building systems. Freedom doesn't come from working more. It comes from earning more while working less. 7. Authority and positioning. Most people want to be paid for what they do. The 10% get paid for what they represent. You might be the best professional, but if no one knows it, what's the point? It's not enough to be good. You have to appear good and be recognized. That's authority. And authority is the new oil. The 10% position themselves. They create content, share insights. They don't hide. They know that whoever gets attention gets power. Because nowadays, if you're not seen, you're forgotten. Turn your story, your pain, your victories into a brand. People trust those who lead, and those who lead win. 8. Systems and scalability. You are trapped in your own effort. If you don't work, you don't get paid. If you stop, you sink. That is not freedom. It's modern slavery in a suit. The 10% think differently. How do I earn even while I sleep? They build systems, products, platforms, services that work without them. They create machines that run 24/7. They use technology, build teams. They know they can't scale their energy, but they can scale their processes. While you sell hours, they sell solutions. While you repeat tasks, they automate. You can start alone, but you need to build something bigger than yourself. 9. Courage to lose. Do you know why many never win? Because they are terrified of losing. You don't take risks. Don't expose yourself. Don't try new things. Because you fear failure. But here's the secret. Failure is the ticket to victory. The 10% are not luckier. They are braver. They fail, learn, fall, rise. While you wait for the perfect idea, they launch, test, adjust. You believe success comes from perfection, but it comes from speed of execution. The rich fail more because they act more, and every failure becomes a brick in their castle. 10. Clarity of vision. You live on autopilot. Wake up, work, complain, sleep, and repeat. But you rarely ask yourself, where do I want to be in 5 years? Most people live without vision, without direction, without purpose, and those without a destination, any road will do. The 10% live in the present with their eyes on the future. They have clear goals. They know where they're going, and every step is aligned with their vision. They are not slaves to urgency because they have a plan. You need a vision clear as crystal, an image so powerful it pulls you forward every day. Because clarity accelerates decisions, multiplies energy, and kills distractions. Conclusion: you decide the script. Now that you know the 10 invisible assets, the question is, will you keep living the script written for you, or will you write your own? Because in the end, freedom is not a gift. It's a project, built on decisions, not desires. The 10% were not born ready. They simply chose not to be like the 90%. They decided to pay the price, to think differently, act with courage, invest where no one looks, plant where no one believed. Now it's your turn. You can keep chasing safety or begin building freedom. You can keep complaining or start moving. But remember this, time will pass. The question is, will you just pass with it, or will you grow with it?